to the channel today. Today I wanted to share with you my review of a fur coat that I made. So anyway, the fur coat that I made was Burda Style number 113 from the December 2011 issue of Burda Style magazine. And this is the cover. And this is the pattern right here. And so the fabric that I used was from mood.com, and it's called Black Faux Beaver. And so it is super soft. And I just love how soft it is. It's like touching a cloud, I would imagine. So anyway, this is a very simple pattern, and there were only 5 pattern pieces. Excuse me. So there is the front, the sleeve front, sleeve back, the back, and then there is a back facing right here. And it is fully lined. So, and I lined it with a polyester satin that I had in my stash, and I believe this is from Joann's. So this is such a nice pattern, and the directions were very clear because this was one of their pattern sewing lessons. So if you've never seen a Burda magazine, every month they have a sewing lesson, and this one they have very detailed instructions with the pictures and everything. So this pattern is still available on the burdastyle.com website, and I'll leave a link to it below in the description box, and it's $5.99. So a couple of tips for sewing faux fur. One, you have to cut the fur side down. You also should cut it in one single layer instead of doubling it over. You should use an 80-90 needle. 80 for a soft backed fur and 90 for a stiffer fur. You can also cut with scissors for shorter pile fabrics, or a razor blade for longer pile fabrics, furs. And you should always use a pressing cloth. And if you have one, you should use a needle board. I've never really seen one. I'm going to look it up and see what that is. But that was one of the tips in this book by Sandra Betsina, and it's called More Fabric Savvy. And so you get a lot of tips on different fabric types in this book. So, and she also has one that's just called Fabric Savvy, and they're basically the same book, because I have the other one and I picked up I had this one, and then I picked the other one up at a yard sale. It's the same thing. So you don't need both. But anyway, super easy coat to make, and I'll show you a quick clip of me with some tips that while I was cutting it out. Here we go. So today I'm working on this fur faux jacket. It is style number 113 from the December 2011 issue of Burda Style magazine. And I got this magazine off of eBay, but the actual pattern is available on PDF on the Burda Style website, and I'll leave a link in the description box to that below. But anyway, I'm working on this style right here, and it is the pattern, the sewing lesson pattern in this issue. And so I'm just going to give you a couple of the tips that I've learned from reading over this issue, as well as some tips from, there are also tips in this January 2019 issue right here, and they give you a couple more tips here. So I'm using a combination of both of the tips to sew up this jacket. And so what I've done so far is I've laid my faux fur down with the fur side down. So the fur side is down, and I've made sure the nap is smooth going down so that it flows downward on the fabric. So when you turn it over, it's still flowing downward. So that's the first thing I did pursuant to the tips in the magazine. And then the next thing that I did was so this is the back piece right here, and they said to cut it all, lay everything out flat instead of on the fold. And so what they suggested is that you double up any patterns that say to cut it on the fold. And so that's what I did, is I just doubled up this pattern piece. So this is the back piece, and I just recopied it again so that I can have it all in one piece. And the same thing for this back facing piece right here. So this is the back facing piece right here. So now the January issue right here suggests that you use a razor blade for long pile fur. And my fur is, I would say, maybe small or medium pile, because it's not too long. And so I'm going to go ahead and use scissors. And so I've pinned everything down, and I'm going to cut everything out with the scissors, and I'll be back to show you some tips when I get to the darts. Okay, so now I'm going to mark my dart, and I moved my dart down about 1 inch so it could fit my bust correctly. And so now I'm going to mark it. And so according to the magazine, what you do to mark the dart is you cut the dart down on the dart line, and then you fold it over on the other dart line. Fold it over right here. And then you take your marker, whatever marking tool you use. This is a Chaco marking line. And you mark your dart like that. So, you gonna show up? Okay, so that's how you mark the dart. And so then you will cut the other side and do the same thing. And then mark it this way. I'm gonna go over it a little bit with my chalk thing because it's pretty light. Okay, so now the dart is marked. And then I'm also gonna mark all the numbers because they do seem matching with numbers on Burda. So this is a 1, so I'm gonna mark a little 1 right here. And then this section is a 4. So I'm gonna do that. And there's a notch right here, so I'm gonna put the notch right next to the 4. And then there's a notch over here, and I'll mark the notch there. So, and then up here, there's a 5. So I'll mark a little 5. All right, a 5 here. Okay. And then there's a 6 there, and then I'll put the 6 here. And then for this is the facing line. This is it says to mark along the facing line. So in order to do that, you do the same thing. You just fold it over here. I already have it pinned right there. Move this pin. Sorry about that. So for the facing, there is a line, a marked line for you to do, because this is a self-facing. And so what I'm gonna do to mark it is I'm gonna fold down this line and then mark it with the Choco liner all the way down. Okay, and so now this is marked right here, and I can go over it with a big ruler and the chalk pencil, which just broke on me. And I'll come straight down. Okay, so there you have. So now the facing line is marked right there. And so I have everything marked, and now because this is the front, I have to flip this over and mark it all over again on the opposite side, so I can have a mirror right and left side. So that's some information on me sewing it, and now I'll show you some quick pictures and twirls of me wearing this faux fur. Video to show you this faux fur. I did end up getting a lot of fur everywhere because I didn't know you had to cut really tiny snips, and I saw a video from fabric.com showing how small the snips should be, and so I realized that after I sewed it. So there was fur everywhere, and so I had to do a lot of vacuuming and everything, but it's so worth it. And this is such a simple, easy pattern. And McCall's has a couple of learn to sew pattern as well. If you wanted another, if Burda's not available to you, there is a McCall's learn to sew pattern that's kind of similar to this one, and I'll leave a link to that pattern as well. And I look forward to seeing you guys next time. And if you haven't subscribed, please hit the subscribe button below, and I'll see you next time. Take care. Bye.